look at this whole Israeli thing. A number of people in the Jewish community deeply concerned about Israel, the state of Israel, what's going to happen with the future of Israel. Trump taking one position, Obama taking another. So there's a lot of uncertainty that we'll have to talk about in the coming weeks of the direction of this country.
Yeah, in terms of Israel, I think that there's some real issues. No question about that. You know, I have, what I've said on Twitter and Periscope already is that I've got some real mixed emotions. Number one, I think we should have only one president at a time, not two. I don't think there should be competing messages. I think people have to work together. Having said that, I will say this, that I'm pleased, to the extent that I can be, I'm pleased that, pardon me, that Donald Trump did stand up for Israel, if only because of the fact that I think that the United Nations is not the place to engage in foreign policy, between two parties. And so, plus I thought that was very hypocritical, because with all the bombing and all the just the mass murdering going on in Syria and elsewhere, just the idea that the world is going to come down on Israel compared to Assad and Russia, it's mind-blowing. It really is. So while I do believe that we should be speaking with one voice, I don't believe that that the way this was handled in terms of the Obama administration was the right way of handling it. I think that, if anything, I just don't understand why they didn't just veto at this point in time, put the ball back into the court when Donald Trump takes over. I mean, Obama taking a position on this, really, quite frankly, is of no moment. It has no real significance other than embarrassing Israel. Your thoughts?
Well, by the way, if you go back, I think 25 years on the same day, December the 23rd, when that resolution was passed, go back to December the year 23rd, there was a vote in the UN involving Israel. The vote was 14 with the U.S. abstaining against Israel. That president was Ronald Reagan, so it's not the first time it's ever happened. This is a complicated issue that if you listen to the average viewer out there, most of the folks watching this right now, and I'm in that group, Kerry sounded pretty convincing today in his press conference about the repeated violations in the West Bank on the part of Israel.
Reject the criticism that this vote abandons Israel. On the contrary, it is not this resolution that is isolating Israel. It is the permanent policy of settlement construction that risks making peace impossible. And virtually every country in the world other than Israel opposes settlements. That includes many of the friends of Israel, including the United Kingdom, France, Russia, all of whom voted in favor of the settlements resolution in 2011 that we vetoed, and again this year, along with every other member of the Council.
Then you can't come up and you hear the Prime Minister of Israel following up with his own press conference that says Kerry is just not telling the truth.
By passionately condemning a policy of enabling Jews to live in their historic homeland and in their eternal capital, Jerusalem. Hundreds of suicide bombings, thousands, tens of thousands of rockets, millions of Israelis in bomb shelters are not throwaway lines in a speech.
And so, so many of us are caught in the middle and don't really know who to believe, and it's a very complicated issue. And it's just hard to think that Israel is going to take over the whole West Bank and Palestine will never have a state, when the majority of the world wants Palestine to have some place to land. And so we've had every president in my memory has tried to deal with a peace effort, and from Arafat and Clinton and dealing with it, and Jimmy Carter and George Bush. And we're still making no progress, Stephen. So I'm not sure we're going to see that much progress made if you've got our key allies like France and you got England and Germany and most of Europe standing by a two-country settlement, and the United States says, no, we're completely backing Israel. That may be our position, but I don't see how there's any give. I don't see how you're going to broker any kind of a solution, quite frankly, in the next few years. And so maybe, the focus is more on Syria and the Middle East, and maybe that's where it will stay. But as far as the Israeli problem, I don't think most observers, including me, feel like it's going to be settled in the coming months with Donald Trump in the coming years, because Trump is over here with Israel. You got most of the rest of the UN taking a different direction, including the big guns in the UN, like China and India and Russia. And so it looks like we're in for a stalemate. And as long as it is a stalemate, you don't have Iran that is rattling its swords and causing a whole new confrontation. Maybe that's the best we're going to get, quite frankly, Steve.
Well, I mean, doesn't it seem? I mean, well, first of all, I do understand what you're saying. I also understand what Kerry's saying, and but I guess my question is, doesn't it seem sort of odd that with all that's happened over the last 3 years, in terms of, just people being, just mass murder, another quote Holocaust quote, that they would pick on Israel at this point in time? It just seems to me to be just totally hypocritical and political. So from that standpoint, I totally agree with Donald Trump on this issue.
Well, I wonder who, Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, said today he has absolute proof that the United States engineered this whole resolution against Israel. And, if that's the case, then obviously it looks like the U.S. is ganging up on Israel. It'd be very surprising to me. But if somebody else engineered it, is that Russia and other countries trying to divert attention away from all the pressures in Syria? It's very, very confusing. The world is very confusing. And you've got a lot of very interested people like those watching us right now who care about their country, who want to understand it, who can't make heads or tails out of it.